Yep.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 2025 WHL Championship Series presented by Nutrien Game 1. We have the Spokane Chiefs here, head coach Brad Lauer, captain Berkeley Catton, and defenseman Braden Crampton. Coach, we'll just start with your thoughts on tonight's game.
Yeah, I thought, I think obviously it was a different stage for us. I think, after the first period, I didn't think we managed the puck very well as a group, and they're a team that you got to make sure you're managing, doing those little things to prevent their transition. I thought second period we turned the puck over too many times, but we're still in the game. We still hung around, and third period we came back, and I thought again we got that power play goal which got us within one, and they got an unfortunate bounce to get that third one, but we played a much better third period. I think we understand what it's about now. But overall, it was just, it was just one game.
Dave Nichols, Spokesman Review. Brad, that first 6 minutes there, they really came out with a lot of jump, and it seemed like you were not a half step slow the rest of the night, but playing from behind.
Yeah, no, I think, again, it's an emotional, it's an electric building. They're full, their fans are, it's an exciting building to play in, whether you're a visiting team or a home team. And I think we were a little bit late, and I didn't think we were, not saying we weren't ready. I think we just kind of wanted to see what it was going to be about, and they came out hard, they came out pushing like we thought they would, and I think we're just a little bit late to the game, but overall I thought again we still stuck around, we're still in the game till towards the end there.
That second period, Callan had to be your best player. He was.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about his performance there.
Yeah, like I said, the second period, we turned the puck over way too many times. I think with 7 or 8 odd man rushes we gave up that period, and you can't do that to that team. And we were very fortunate that Dawson made those saves for us to keep us in the game going into the third period. He played a heck of a second period for us. He played a heck of a game for us, which is nice.
Berkeley, we've talked a couple times this year about how this is a young team despite the older leaders on it. Maybe talk a little bit about opening the eyes for the younger players here in Game 1.
Yeah, obviously it's a big stage, but it is just hockey at the end of the day, and I think that start was a little shaky, and like you kind of mentioned, we played from behind most of the night, but I think now we've seen it, and we'll be ready to go here.
Braden, talk a little bit about the defenseman jumping up in the play in the third period, because I think you and Mays probably had the best opportunities to score there late in the third period.
Yeah, obviously we talked about it. We want to get up in the rush as much as possible. And I thought there was times where we could jump up in a rush, but it's a bit risky just because they're such an offensive team. We know that. But yeah, you just got to pick your chances of when you can go and when you can't.
James Tubb, Medicinet News. Berkeley, just walk me through the power play goal and how important it is for you guys to get a special teams goal like that in Game 1.
Yeah, special teams is huge, obviously even bigger in the playoffs, and I think we like to have speed in our break-in, and I think that was Shea made a great play to me and just finished it, but I think that was a great break-in and just started off that.
Brad, the Tigers seem to do a good job of taking away the slot tonight for you guys. Just how important is that to reestablish that inner zone there for Game 2?
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. They did clog it up very well in their D zone. I thought they were very good. They do a very good job of pass rushing. I think they put us in some pressure where we weren't ready to maybe move the puck or shoot the puck. We'll go through the game and we'll make sure there's some areas in the game we got to improve on 100%. Getting to the net and getting pucks there and looking for those second, third opportunities that we talk about game in and game out is one of those areas we'll definitely focus on.
Darren Stanke from Stank Sermon and the Prince Albert Daily Herald. I guess this one will be a group question because you guys played pretty well. Like you outshot them. We had lots of ozone time. And now you got a bit different. You got a day off till the next game. I guess, yeah. Just what do you guys do, or what's the next step for you guys to refocus to get ready for a game, especially when you got a day off now too, which is a bit odd between 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think. We had some chances, like I said. I think some of the areas where we get a little bit frustrated was the turnovers and making the mistakes that we did over and over again a couple times. I thought, it's one of those games where we kind kind of kept giving them the puck, especially in the second period, and, kind of put us on our heels for a little bit. But like I said, we did stick around. We did find a way to get to 2-1. We've done that all year. We've been finding ways to get back into games if we to get back in and win games. So it didn't happen tonight. It's one of those games. Like I said, tomorrow we'll just, whether we have practice or not, we'll see. But we'll go through the videotape and we'll make the corrections that we need to make for game 2.
Dawson Patricia in the Hockey News. Obviously, Brad, you've been here before as a coach with the Edmonton Oil Kings in 2022. Where does, since you've made these adjustments before, where does the game plan for game 2 begin?
Well, it's going to begin tonight. When we go through the video as a staff and kind of go through what we think we need to look at, break it down from there, and then obviously we'll meet with our guys tomorrow and kind of show them the video and show them the things that we need to do to going into game 2. So it's going to start right away.
And this one's either for Berkeley or Braden, but with games 3, 4, and 5 all being at home, how important is it to take the next one here on the road before heading back to Spokane?
Yeah, I think it's huge to try and grab one, on the way back. Then once we get into our barn, our fans, our facilities, so that's always huge. But again, take the day tomorrow, kind of recoup, and like Brad said, watch some video and come out gunning there on Sunday, and I think we'll be ready.
Brad, we kind of talked coming into the series, we were going to see a lot of 6-5 games. Were you surprised there in the third period that you were still in a 3-1 game?
No. I think, obviously Dawson made some big saves in the second period. Could have been blown open, but, he bailed us out, which was nice to see. But again, last time we played these guys, it was a close game. It was 2-0 with 10 minutes to go in the third period. And, we made some costly mistakes that they capitalized on. So it was almost one of those games again where the mistakes we made, they capitalized on. But, there's definitely firepower on both teams, 100%. But I think we're also conscious of making sure we play defense first and we're not just offense.
How much of the mistakes do you think were you, and how much was it them?
Well, I think there's a little bit of mixture of both in there. Obviously, their pressure they put on you to make quick decisions with the puck definitely would result in some of that. And then some of it is us. Not making the easy, keeping it simple, not making the play that's there, looking for something different, that's not there, or a lower percentage, and not taking the higher percentage play that's there.
That concludes our availability with the Spokane Chiefs. Berkeley, Brad, Braden, thank you for doing this.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3. All right, everybody, welcome back to the 2025 WHL Championship Series presented by Nutrien Game 1 postgame. We are joined by the Medicine Hat Tigers head coach Willie Desjardins, forward Andrew Basha, and defenseman Bryce Pickford. Willie, we'll just start with your assessment of your team's play tonight.
I thought it was a hard game for sure. Spokane has a very good team. You know, I thought that we had a great start, which was huge for us. You know, and then I thought that, you know, we sat back maybe a little bit, but a lot of credit goes to Spokane. We were ready, and, you know, they played hard.
James, Medicine Hat News. Willie, just what did you think of Andrew Bash and Caden Lindstrom coming back and, you know, their first games in a while?
Well, I thought it was really exciting scoring the first shift. I thought that was about as good as you could start. For sure, it's going to be exciting having them in the lineup. You know, they're two real quality players, great skill. So it'll be exciting. It's really hard for them to come in and sat out as long as they have. So it's pretty amazing they did as well as they did, and it just shows how hard they worked to kind of get back and be in some kind of condition to come in and play.
Andrew, just what was the feeling like to score in that moment? And, you know, Caden gets the assist, but for you just to come back from an injury and score as early as you did.
Yeah, it was crazy for sure. You know, the boys are kind of talking about how loud it's been, but you know, when we came out and saw the lights and stuff, I was, you know, just kind of revving for that first shift, and luckily, just kind of, you know, that's just, you know, I mean, that's just, you know, pretty lucky that that play happened. So yeah, Lindy and Marty made great plays, and I was able to find the back of the net, and yeah, it was a really fun night, and you know, just got to get ready for Sunday now.
I know when you talked this morning, it was you got to enjoy the atmosphere, but not as much because you weren't on the ice. So how did it match up, you know, on the ice, obviously after you score, but even when the rest of the goals go in? Yeah,
it was unbelievable. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. I've never seen this place like that. You know, I don't think, I mean, yeah, it was unbelievable. So, you know, we rallied behind them and, you know, used their energy. And, you know, I thought there were stretches where, you know, like Willie said, we kind of sat back a bit. And, but overall, I thought it was, you know, we just got the win. So that's all that matters right now. So.
Willie, just saw you guys, the defensemen and the forwards take away the slot tonight. How important was that, and how high up was that on the game plan?
Well, it's high up. They got a high octavo tip offense. Like they can create a lot from nothing. So you have to take away the middle of the rink if you can. But even if you do, they still are going to create. So we're fortunate. Manningham had a great night tonight for us. You know, that probably was the difference. So, but you know, in a series like this, it doesn't matter. You just got to get the game, and then you get to move on to the next one.
Dawson Patrician, the Hockey News. Coach, obviously Marcus Ruck not in the lineup tonight, but what have you made of the youth movement here in Medicine Hat, especially down the stretch as playoffs have worn on?
Yeah, we played 3 16-year-olds together. We played the 2 Rucks and Carroll together, and they're so impressive. It was hard taking them out for sure because they've been so good for us. And you know, they're really, really good hockey players, but they're exceptional people. Like Marcus Ruck, when I told him I was going to have to take him out, you couldn't have a guy be better. And inside he probably wasn't that good, but you know, he sure said all the right things, and you appreciate that. I know how bad he wants to play, but they're really quality individuals and great hockey players.
And this one's kind of an open question, but what have you guys made of the performance of Harrison Mennigan so far this season, and especially in the last couple of series?
Picks? Yeah, he's an unreal goalie. For him to come up and get traded to our team, he's close with all the guys. So for him to come in and play as well as he is right now, it's pretty cool to watch.
Willie, maybe if you can expand upon the play of Harrison. That was actually his busiest game of the postseason, and especially in these critical matches, the game ones, the series clinchers, he seems to really pull out his best.
He has. When we went through the States on that tour, I think he was like, his save percentage, I don't know, was like 9.4 or something. He was unbelievable. And you know, he seems to get dialed in the bigger the game, the more he gets dialed in. So he's been great for us. He's gone through a lot, and for him to be able to stay focused. And I know all our guys are really excited for him when he makes saves and gets a win. So it's a good feeling for us in the room.
Darren Stanky from the Stank Sermon, the Prince Albert Daily Herald, and an alum of the Messnat News. Just thinking about Harrison, this shows I'm old. I was having Matt Keatley flashbacks out there. I just think, because I remember Keats had so many big games in 07. I was just wondering, any comparisons there to how much of a gamer Harrison was today?
No, Keats was an unbelievable goaltender. Like he was so good during that run. It's hard to say how good he was, and he was there every night. And Harrison has been for us as well. Like we've had lots of tough games, and tonight he was good. He was just so calm back there. That gives you a lot of confidence when he's that calm as well. There's a lot of series left here, and we're going to need him to be big as we go forward.
And Bryce, for you, what was it like to be able to score in this game? And because you've been around for a while, just even to play in the WHL final here in Medhat.
Yeah, Gav made an unreal play entering the zone, so I didn't think he was going to find me, but he always does. So for me to come downhill, I came as the fourth guy, and he found me, and I scored.
And a simple one for Andrew, a simple question. What was the reality like when you got on the ice and were playing, and of course you scored right away, but what was that reality for you after all that time off?
Yeah, it was really weird. I said it before, it was just a very slow winter for me, and the past kind of 3 weeks it just started picking right back up again, and now we're here. So I was kind of telling Willie the whole time I was going to do it, and pretty just kind of mesmerized that it was unbelievable to just see that crowd, and so special how well the boys have played throughout this whole run, and just great to get back out there with them. So
I guess Willie, the takeaway from tonight is maybe just penalties, or trying to take fewer penalties, or what did you think of that?
Yeah, they got a very good power play for sure, like a really good power play. So we're going to have to stay out of the box for sure. I thought our discipline was pretty good, though. I didn't think it was bad. But they got a good power play, and we're going to have to be smart.
Kind of unique. You get a day off here now, Willie. Just how do you guys take that, before game 2 and approach game 2?
Well, we'll get the rest we need. We'll go over video and take a look at it, but it's good to get that break for especially guys like Andrew and Lindy, where they haven't been playing for a while. It's nice to get the break, and it's good for everybody. Playoffs is such a hard time that you need every break you can get. So they'll get the same break, though, and they're going to be really hungry for game 2, and we'll have to be better tomorrow or on Sunday.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. Bryce, Willie, Andrew, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.